Hey, this is Robert Plank. My website is dfypodcast.com. And I wanted to have a quick chat with you today here on YouTube to talk about outsourcing your podcast and what that means and how it's so important for you to do that, whether you have an existing podcast, a dead podcast, or a podcast that's just getting started. You can't do it all yourself. It takes a village. There's a saying that no one person knows how to make a pencil, from chopping down the tree to making the eraser to put it all together. Imagine if you yourself had to go in and milk a cow and pump your own water and get your own gasoline out of the ground. It takes a team. That way you can focus on the one thing. That way when you go and flick on the light switch, you're not going out and getting the electricity itself. You just click that button and it happens, and you can focus on what it is that you should be focusing on, which is building your relationships and growing your company and building your brand, and not on editing videos and not on listening to the audios and writing the podcast notes. Let me and my team do that work for you. So what we do is we take your podcast recordings, we take your iPhone recordings, we take your Zoom recordings, and we turn it into a podcast. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that if you don't have a podcast yet, we get it set up, we create the graphic, we create the music, we get it online, we get it distributed to the different podcast channels. A lot of people don't even know what a podcast is, right? You have these different episodes, these different audio recordings, and you put it on a website, on sort of a blog with an audio button, but then once it's a podcast, it becomes distributed. If someone searches it on Apple Podcasts, on their podcast app on their phone, on their Google Podcasts app on their phone, on their Alexa smart speaker, and then when someone searches for you and your company name and your keywords, they find you on all different sorts of places. They find you on YouTube. They find you on Spotify. They find you on Audible. They find you on iHeartRadio. What happens now when someone searches your name or your company name or your relevant specified keywords? Does anything come up? Well, if not, then you need to be in more locations. You need to be listed and ranking for more phrases. And the idea here is sort of, in my mind, it's a three-step process. And you can go however far you want to go with this. And step one is to just get something out there. Add some value, solve some problems, talk about those things in your industry that aren't talked about enough or that people give bad advice about. So is there a lot of really bad like weight loss advice or dental advice or chiropractic advice or mindset advice or our business advice? Well, what gets you really angry and how are you different? How do you stand out? Well, this is your chance to catch some of that traffic, to get in front of those people who are looking to solve their problems. And I publish on YouTube every day. I put out my different podcast episodes, and I do that because I know that there are some videos on YouTube with millions of views. But you know what? YouTube also looks at what's the recent content, what's the new videos, and then they look at what captures people and what interests people. And so you have all these opportunities to put out content and to think through these phrases, these titles. And so when someone is searching something that's similar to these titles, then YouTube finds that. You also have a chance in your YouTube description to list things about what your episode was about, to list relevant timestamps and quotes and links. And so your podcast, or at least the first few episodes, is your chance to get your information out there and to talk about those things that you're passionate about, that turn you on, that give problems that you can solve. So that way, if you're giving some of this weight loss advice, that's a path for someone to find you and your website. And by putting out this podcast content, you can rank for all these different sort of keywords on all these different platforms. And maybe not rank everything that you have on first page of Google, but at least you're getting more pages out there than you normally would. If you only post to social media, if you only post to LinkedIn, then that is going to limit the reach that you have. And if you only post to your website, that's only going to be ranked so much. But then if you post as a podcast, you get listed on all these different locations, plus the kind of cutting edge is that people can search for podcasts in their car now. People can ask for podcasts on their Alexa smart speaker, and you can do all kinds of fun with that. Like if someone asks for Alexa to play a podcast episode about something specific and you have that exact phrase as a podcast episode, that's something that Alexa might just play, and it's a way for someone can then use the Alexa commands in their voice to subscribe to your show, and now that's just one new recurring way that you can get in their ear. You can also have a geolocated podcast, which means that if someone is searching from their smart speaker for someone that's in their general area, and you're a brick and mortar business or a service-based business or a contractor business, then you can collect some of those local search results. So that's sort of step one. You make your podcast, you put out some short episodes. I'm just saying like 5 to 15 minutes in length. You don't have to do hours on end. And that's your ticket to at least get ranked for some new content that you have not been ranked for before. And then you have all these podcast episodes, these YouTube episodes. That's content that you can send to your email list and post about on your website and post on social media. And that's great. That's step one. Now, step two is the networking step, which means that you're going to be talking about chiropractic advice or weight loss advice, but after a while, you get a little repetitive, right? You blow through your best content and now you're maybe repeating yourself a little bit, and this is your chance to invite guests onto your podcast. This can start off as just your best customers, your best case studies. Who do you have a current relationship with and you want to strengthen it, you want to immortalize it, you want to make it more? Who are your mentors, or who have mentored you, or who are just some buddies that you know on social media? Maybe you networked a few years ago at an offline event and you want to reconnect again, but you're not really sure how. Who are your best joint venture partners and affiliates? Well, these are all possibilities for you to hop on a Zoom call. And you know how to join a Zoom call, right? We're post-pandemic. You know how to get on that. And you know how to click that one record button. Well, then pass along either your Zoom login information to my team or pass along your recordings. And then your job is done. All you have to do is be the person that schmoozes, that networks, that builds a relationship, that creates the content, and then me and my team will produce it, and we'll listen to it, and we'll write show notes. That way you rank for all these other SEO keywords, and we create social graphics. That way you have content for Instagram, for TikTok. We make video clips for LinkedIn, and then these are all assets that you can then follow up with your guest, with your friend, and say, hey, so we had that conversation on Zoom. Here it is on my website, on YouTube, on all the podcast places, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Audible, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Deezer, etc. And then you say, here is some of these graphics that I'm posting on social media. You can post it on your network as well. You can tag the person. You can say, here is a copy and paste email that you can, if you have an email list, Mr. Guest or Miss Guest, you can send to your list, or you can use it as a blog post. And so just from that one interaction with you, now they and you together are ranked for all these extra search result listings, and you have all this social content, you have Facebook content, you have tweets, and you just have this one piece of content that's posted in all these locations that you can and should then recurringly post every few months. So that way, maybe this guest that you had, maybe they don't do very much marketing on their own outside of their own website, right? Maybe there's some other dentist or doctor or CPA or something, but then now, once they hook up with you, now there's always this continuous content for years, for decades to come from their one interaction with you. And I've had guests on my show that have gotten recurring clients, that have sold books, that have gotten prospecting calls. And so it happened because they were just not known. They were obscure. They were not listed. But by these guests finding you and being on your show, then now you have used your platform, even if it's small at first. You've used your platform to help them raise their profile. And it works both ways, right? Because think about it. If you get Mr. and Ms. John Smith on your show to talk about the top 10 things you should know about maintaining the plumbing in your home, then they get promotion for their name, their company name, about like plumbing in their local area, but then you also rank for these keywords and it helps you as well. And if you are yourself a contractor or a plumber, let's say that you're in real estate, let's say you flip houses and you interview all these different contractors in your area, then now you can see how it kind of works together, right? Because if someone is a homeowner and they're looking for advice from their contractor on how to maintain a home, then they might also be a house flipper or they might be a homeowner. And it works both ways, right? Because if they're looking for your help to flip their next home and they're looking to rehab a home or fix up a home, then you can see how it works both ways. So step one, we said, was for you to make a podcast and to put a few episodes on there to demonstrate your expertise, to talk about a few things. And then step two is to then get some guests in to further enhance your podcast in both the content, because they deliver fresh content, but also to use their network to then grow your show as well, because they want to show off their guest appearance on your show, but it also helps other people find awareness to your show. John Rockefeller said, I'd rather have 100 people giving me 1% than one person giving me 100%. And now you're getting all this extra traffic. And so now the third step, now that you've created a podcast, now that you have guests, the third step is for you to then appear on other shows, to appear on other podcasts. And this happens as a result of your networking, as you kind of having a little bit of this content as someone who's a podcaster, who's an interviewer. You get on other shows to then kind of get your due, to get your benefits in return, because now you appear on other people's shows and your name and your company and your keywords and your podcast and your business and your website rank for all these terms. And imagine if you just showed up on one podcast a week, one podcast a month, whatever fits your time budget. And then now you can see how all these things work together. You have your own show, your own content, your own guests, you're a guest on other shows. And then as a result, social media is no longer a place where you waste time and you're not sure what to do. Now social media is a place where all of your friends are, but not just your friends, your business friends. Now your social media, now your LinkedIn is filled with people that you promote and that who promote you. And now it all works together. And now you kind of have this consistent networking. Have you ever gone to a conference or a meetup or one of these online Zoom meetings and you weren't really sure why you were there? You just knew that you wanted to make some new connections. You wanted to get your name out there. And you knew that it was better than just sitting at home and doing nothing, but you also left not really feeling much in the way of tangible results. And of course, no one expects to go to a networking event and leave with a handful of sales and to get a new clients. But sometimes you say, well, I'd love to go to that local meetup and I'd love to get a lead or two. I'd love to get some prospects or some calls on the calendar. Well, podcasting is the way to get that consistently, because if you just chat with someone on Facebook Messenger or LinkedIn, that's a nice chat. But if you meet with them on your podcast, you both remember each other. You both spent 15, 20, 30 minutes together. And you're both in that recording together. So now, even if years from now, you say, who is that person? And you look up and you find that podcast recording from 5 years ago. You're like, oh, I remember them. I had a conversation with them. And so podcasting is your content tool and your networking tool and your way to rise up from obscurity and to become relevant. But how do you do all these things that I've listed, right? How do you know how to even set up your podcast, or how to write all the podcast notes or get distributed to all these platforms, or let alone editing video and turning it into audio and adding all the tags and posting on all the platforms? Well, that's where me and my team come in at DFYpodcast.com, where we do all this sort of thing for you. And so as you see from me chatting with you right here, sometimes it is time to do your fancy presentation and to have a video with a lot of graphics and lots of quick cuts and edits. But here I am, just right here with my green screen. Well, I'm trying to switch to, here we go. Just my green screen right in the background. And we're just chatting and we're just having a quick conversation. And sometimes that's what you have to do. Sometimes you just have to talk to your people and be real and raw and authentic and low budget and just have that quick conversation. And that's what we're doing right now. And I'm going to post this on YouTube and we're going to figure out some keyword titles. I'm going to have my team write some notes about it. And this will just be something that ranks on YouTube forever. It won't rank number one for every single phrase, but it's yet one more piece of content. And you should be putting out content like this as well. What stops you? Probably technical know-how, probably time. I want to free up both of those things for you. I want you to be able to just record the content, then your job is done. And that way you can even get ahead of the calendar, right? Imagine if you knew that next Monday and next Wednesday and next Saturday, you had all these podcast episodes coming out. What if you knew that next Tuesday and next Thursday, there were all these little video clips coming out? What if you knew that next Sunday there was an email broadcast that was just on a timer that was going to go out? Well, those are all technical things that come about from repurposing your content in your videos. So you get to giving us the content and we'll get to the repurposing and the traffic and the link building and the content creation. And so click the link below this video, go to dfypodcast.com. Let's start that conversation. I'm Robert Plank. I'd love for me and my team to start your podcast, to revive your dead podcast, bring it back to life, or if you already have a podcast that's rocking and rolling, what if it was easier for you? What if you just had to show up? What if you were able to do double or triple the number of episodes or guests or use some of your guests' traffic, use some of their social platforms? Well, let's have a conversation. Let's talk. Robert Plank, DFYpodcast.com. Catch you later. Bye for now.